Hello and welcome back to the Fully Expressed podcast. Today, I am so excited to introduce you to the first episode of 2026. And I have a very special guest who is going to be joining us for this episode. Her name is Christine Angela, and we have worked together in the past for a few events that we have held for women. And the most common one is my signature Raw, Wild and Free retreat, where she is the resident Shamanic Breathwork Facilitator who helps to create and support a sacred rage release ceremony, a space where you are safe to release any emotions or anything that just wants to come out of your body. And the feeling that you get when you do this is absolutely incredible, empowering. It leaves you feeling so clear and able to receive so much more. So I'm so excited to bring her on. Thank you so much for joining me on the Fully Expressed podcast, Christine. For the listeners and everyone tuning in, can you introduce yourself and just tell us a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So my name is Christine Angela. I'm a shamanic breathwork facilitator and medicine woman and also Reiki master. And I really use all of those modalities within my own unique breathwork facilitation to really help women get through to the bottom of the root of what's going on for them, and then absolutely shifting it from the body, the mind, and the soul level. So we're really moving it out of the cells, out of the energy field, so that you can then find what is exactly in alignment for you and then go take action on that with intention. So that's what I do and what I'm really intentional about with women.
Amazing. And such powerful work as well. And I know personally because I've worked with you and we've done a lot of beautiful events together, which is really, really amazing. But today what I want to really dive into and talk about is the topic of the dark feminine, the mystery of the dark feminine, because it has some perceptions about it that maybe people don't really understand what the dark feminine is. And my perception is it being about being the raw feminine, being the true feminine. But I would love to hear what your interpretation is of the dark feminine.
Oh, I love this topic because I feel like so many people talk about this from like a shadow perspective, but don't really then talk about, well, what is it actually we're tapping into and what is it actually we're not bypassing, because everyone uses that word and doesn't actually explain what it means. So when we're talking about the dark feminine, we're really talking about the aspects of ourselves that we really don't like. It's the dark that we don't like about ourselves. It's the anger. It's how quickly we get irritable and frustrated with our partners or with our kids, even in our everyday life, or maybe we're triggered really quickly and we go from 0 to 100 in 2 seconds. And it's about really understanding that we can't bypass those emotions. We can only start to work on how we react from that place. And when you start to work with those darker aspects, like the grieving that you probably haven't fully grieved your identity of when you may have broken up with someone, or maybe it's transitioning into a new identity with your career, for example, where I will tell you a little story for myself. I've been teaching a secondary teacher for over 12 years, and it wasn't until this last year that I really realized that I had to step away from that identity to become the full identity of who I am as a healer and a psychic channel. And I couldn't do that until I felt and understood my self and how tied up in my worth I was with my teaching identity in my career, and had to strip that right back and feel all the anger I had with that, all of the grief I had with that identity, and further to that, I had to also grieve an identity of a 200-kilo woman who had made this identity and herself about this, and then having to strip this right back. And that was a lot of grief that I had to feel. A lot of tears had to come out, and a lot of energy in my body had to shift with actually feeling it. This is not about not feeling it. Light and fluffy is what I hate hearing about when we talk about Reiki and breath work and things like that, because it's not light and fluffy at all. You have to feel the depth of your emotion, because otherwise you won't feel the full depth of your happiness, your love, your abundance of those powerful higher vibration emotions. And that's why it's so important, I think, with the dark feminine, that we don't just look at the shadow aspect from the mind. We are really working with the woman and people's cellular level from the body with the breath, and then with Reiki and shifting the energy in the field of that person. That's what dark feminine is to me, and really feeling the full spectrum of the emotions, not bypassing anything.
Oh my God, I love how passionate you are. And I love that we both can talk about this, because it is so important. What really resonated for me just then, what you were talking about feeling, and I know how powerful it is to actually feel your emotions. As someone who was very disconnected and disassociated from her body for over 30 years, I really and truly believe that the more deeply we feel our emotions, the greater our transformation, and the more capacity we have to receive what we need and what we desire, and to be able to give ourselves that love. Because, you know, when you have that capacity to feel more, it's like this overwhelming sense and feeling of love, because you are just opening your heart, you're cracking open your walls of protection and survival, and, you know, behaviors that you had to create in order to feel safe that are no longer serving you. They just come down, and you're able to start really connecting to, you know, the parts of you that maybe you've abandoned or, you know, suppressed or forgotten about. And it's a really beautiful thing to tune into those emotions and allow them to come home to yourself and your body. So
I love the
yeah.
way that you just said that, because it's so true. Like when you were even just talking about when our fears come up, when our limiting beliefs come up, when our scarcity comes up, it's exactly what you just said, feeling it, and even feeling it from the body. And as you said, it's about like reconnecting with the body and feeling what is actually stored within our body, because our body keeps those experiences within our cells. And when we add movement and somatics to the breath work, we use Reiki with both of us, and shamanic tools, and we do that deeper work. Absolutely, we start seeing those transformations with the women that have come into these circles, haven't we? And it's been really powerful.
Oh yeah. Well, you kind of answered one of the questions that I had before, which was sorry, I had some questions, and one of the questions was, we were talking about identity shifts before. And we've both been experiencing quite big identity shifts. I know that you've experienced your shift in going from a school teacher, which you are fantastic about, and you're now shifting fully into your medicine woman.
Absolutely.
And what are some of the things that you had to kind of let go of in that process? What are some of the things that that really landed for you?
I love this question, because there are so many components that we don't talk about when we're actually shifting out of an identity. And those little things are like the grief that comes up, the sadness that comes up about who you've built yourself to be for pretty much your whole life, and then stripping that back. And that takes a lot of courage. Firstly, it's about courage. It's about choosing courageously to actually look at your shit and go, what is actually here that's holding me back? What is actually here that I'm not allowing myself to see, first of all, and then actually shift? because it's so much more comfortable staying as we are and thinking that we're doing the work and changing little habits in our life and looking at our patterns. But it's a completely different thing to really look and unpack those patterns and really unlook of where they're coming from at the root of it and why you're acting and reacting from that place. And it's also about asking it not just from the mind. For me, for so long, I was asking these questions from the mind and nothing was actually shifting. And I was like, why? I have all this awareness. I know all these things. I've been doing this work since, 2019. Why am I still in the same place? And that was a huge thing for me that I really unpacked in 2025 of looking at my ego and how much I had built my identity around this big, bubbly, chunky woman who could teach. And that's how I felt like all I had and who I was in the world. And really stripping that back to realize, actually, I'm more than that. I'm just Christine, and being Christine and having the value I have and the wisdom I've experienced and helping others see that as well has been really important in my journey to see myself from a different lens. And that's another thing that you don't really see. We don't see how other people see ourselves, other people see our gifts, other people see our wisdom. But if you don't believe in yourself enough about that, then how on earth can anyone really feel the full spectrum of yourself, because you're not? And that was another huge thing I've really unpacked as well. I've needed to feel me and connect really deeply to my heart, to my intuition. And with that has come different habits in my daily life to nourish that body that I've now have. So at 200 kilos, I was eating crap. I wasn't sleeping. I was looking for external validation with men. And I had to strip all of that back and look at, why was I doing that in the first place? They're just the symptoms. And that's often what we see in this space as well. The mentoring space can be really saturated with just looking at the symptom of things and not looking at the root of things. And that's how, when we actually look at those transformations that we help with women and for ourselves, it's about really looking at the mind, body, and soul of it, not just one or the other. And it's about really using all three. For me, that's what it has been, using all three tools, all three things I've trained in, and using them more intentionally in my daily life to actually shift things, because you can't just do it from your head. I've tried. You can journal all your shadows till the cows come home and nothing actually changes.
It's true. It's true. You need that holistic collaboration of everything and balanced for everything to be, in alignment with who you are, your raw feminine, your most authentic essence. And
absolutely,
I love that.
And with courage, I think that's like the key thing. You got to choose it with courage. You've got to want to change and know that it's going to be uncomfortable, that you can lead yourself and hold yourself with compassion through that. And I think that's really important as well.
Yeah, I totally resonate with that. And where I'm on personally in my journey, I feel the grief, because I'm grieving an identity that I created when I was 13 years old. And it's really, you do need that courage because it can be really confronting and really scary. And also, you're going into uncharted territory, so you don't really know what to expect. I've been feeling a lot of rage, a lot of anger, and unprocessed emotions coming up from, maybe when my parents separated and I didn't really understand or process that, or I was angry at them, and, maybe I was angry at boys or whatever was happening for me in my life at that time. So I'm feeling it all. And it is just really interesting how to navigate this new, it's like, I feel like I'm in between the old and the new, and shifting into this new version of me where I am stepping fully into my dark feminine. I am not falling back into old behaviors, and I can see these old behaviors, and I have the awareness around them. I'm kind of it's like, I don't know, in a cocoon kind of phase where I'm like, no, I'm not that person anymore. This is the person I want to be, but I'm like in the middle. So
yeah, I love that metaphor that you used, right? Because we always talk about becoming the butterfly, but nobody talks about the importance of the cocoon. It's like that
hard
in
part.
that void. Exactly. It's the hardest part, but nobody talks about it enough. It is scary. It is hard, but also it's about choice, choosing the hard. It's hard to stay the same way as we've always been. You can still be the same person walking into 2026, reacting the way we are, triggered the way we are, all of those things. Or we can choose to actually get out of our comfort zone, because that's what keeps us stuck and safe, and actually choose to be courageous and change something. We're not trees. We don't have roots in one spot. We can. And I think that's really important about what you're saying as well. It is really scary, but we have to have the courage to choose something better for ourselves if that's truly what we're desiring, to truly step into someone that is going to actually shift things for ourselves and lead and navigate ourselves, because that's what we're giving the women that are coming to this. We are giving real life tools that they can take away and actually utilize. And I think that's what it is, not just about journaling and fluffy light love, which I can't stand people saying. We're not about that. We are so much more, we're talking about deep information.
Yeah, and the truth, and just being okay to be vulnerable, to be messy, and to be in the mud, and not feel like we have to isolate ourselves. Because I feel like, for me personally, when I first started doing this work in 2019, 2020, I felt very isolated. I felt like I had to isolate myself, because I had to only emerge as the butterfly. I couldn't show everyone the process of, shifting and letting go, and all of the, the crap that comes with this work. And now it's like, there's so much beauty when we're in circle with women and you're just shedding and letting go, and you're safe to actually release everything that your body's been holding, that your heart's been kind of trying to keep in a box for no one to see, and just let go, to be raw, to be wild, to be so instinctual. Like, you and I have created some of the most incredible spaces together, where women have just been free to step into their dark feminine. And that's why I'm so passionate about it, and I love working with you, because I know what can happen in these experiences. I've journeyed personally with the women at my retreat, and it's something I love to do. I love to journey with them, because then you're on the same level, and you're not, for me as a host of a retreat, yes, I would like to hold that space, but I trust you, and I know that you can hold it for me. So yeah, just having that allowance, but being able to journey with these women is amazing. So I understand the incredible transformation, and just that feeling of, I don't know, it's like a feeling of inner harmony and peace and knowing and clarity, to just be yourself, and it's okay. So
Absolutely. I love that you explain that so beautifully, because in that you're giving permission, and that's what we're about. We're permission slips. We're not any better than anybody else. We're not perfect. We don't have our shit all together. It's not that. Right? It's not that. It's not that. It's, we are living embodiments of this work, and we're giving others the opportunity to step into the portal, the energy field of what we're creating, and
the process.
And the process, exactly. And feeling all of it. And that is the biggest permission slip we can give to anybody, is to feel all of it, to unleash all of what our bodies, really, our hearts, our minds, our subconscious has been holding for so long. And it's time to fully release her. It's time to get it all out. It's time to unleash her and then reconnect and come home to your heart. And you can't do that with all the noise and everything on top of you. Your voice is so small and you can't hear her. You can't hear you anymore. And that's what it's really about, isn't it? To unleash the dark feminine is to really hear yourself, your truth, your intuition, your voice, nothing outside of ourselves. But until we get rid of all that conditioning, all the noises, all the fears, all the beliefs, all those experiences within our body, it feels like we can't get to the in harmony part that you were talking about until it's all felt and expressed.
Yeah, absolutely. And talking about that, I want to talk a little bit about what is the difference between the dark feminine and perhaps unintegrated emotions like rage and anger, because it's kind of a little bit taboo. Women were told that, anger and rage was not acceptable. We weren't able to show it. So I feel like, can you talk into a little bit about the difference between obviously being in your dark feminine and perhaps not being in your dark feminine?
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing for me that I've seen being able to integrate my dark feminine versus journaling on her, for example, and I can think of a clear example, my relationship. My relationship has shifted so much from the beginning, and it's been 3.5 years and we're engaged and we're about to get married this year, which is really exciting, but it has been a hard journey. And the reason why I'm saying that, it's been challenging, I shouldn't say hard, is because number one, I had to strip back myself, and I've been an independent woman for like 8 years on my own, and then moved in with this beautiful man and thought every time he triggered me, I just wanted to run away. And I would get angry and I would literally just get in my car and drive away. And I remember doing that the second or third time at the beginning, going, how can I ever be with someone if this is how triggered I get and I'm just driving away from them? And so I started to realize that my reactivity, my defensiveness, my insecurities that I had about my body and myself were all playing out and projecting into our relationship. Were all coming out in behaviors. Was me being really irritable or very short and driving off when I'm going, why am I even driving off in the first place? Escaping, exactly. And what I was realizing was, well, first of all, I was abandoning myself. I wasn't communicating with myself. I wasn't understanding why I was so triggered and acted like a little brat, basically, and blaming him all the time for everything. And they're the symptoms, right? They're the symptoms of the root that we don't look at. And what that really was my self-abandonment from the time of when my parents were divorced and I grew up in DV with my stepmom, and I was left with random people when I was with my mum as she was mentally ill, and things happened to me. And when you do not actually address the things that have happened to you in your childhood, they run your life. They run your life, and they almost destroy things that you don't want them to destroy, like the beautiful love that you have in your life. And until I really looked at that, until I really felt all of that, forgave myself, accepted myself, nothing shifted. And when I started to act from that place, when I started to love that girl who had been harmed when she was young, who blamed everyone else and was actually heard by myself from my heart, that is how I integrated a lot of the dark feminine into my life. And a beautiful acceptance of myself, that sometimes we do get angry. We do go from 0 to 100, but it also matters how you repair after that. It matters how you repair with yourself after it first, not going into a shame spiral, not going, oh my God, I did this, I'm the worst person in the world, that I'm not good enough as a human, as a wife, as a partner, as a mum. Those are the things that we go into when we realize we've been projecting onto the people we love the most.
Mm.
And that's also a part of the dark feminine, realizing that in the moment, we are not the nicest people. But that doesn't mean we shame ourselves, that we are never good enough, that we're not lovable, because they're just stories attached to those emotions. So when you actually feel the emotion, you see the story from what it is, you see and feel it where that sensation is in your body. And then you understand that it's been stuck also in your energetic field that you've been carrying for years. That is when you start shifting things. That is how we integrate the dark feminine, because then you start showing up from a place in your heart, from a place of love for yourself first. And then that is then leaked into your energy and your vibration. And it becomes a much better way of communicating with your partner, your kids, your loved ones. And it's not about getting rid of the darkness you have within you. It's about loving her, accepting her, forgiving her, and realizing when you're acting from that place. And that is when we see the shift. That is when you start to realize in your everyday life how you show up and choose differently, because it's your choice. You can choose to look at the things you've buried for your whole life that are running the show still, or you can choose to be courageous and see where you can change and shift those things, feel them first, connect back to your heart, and then speak from your truth.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I know some of that was really vulnerable for you to share, and it's just so nice to hear you share your vulnerabilities, because there's so much beauty in witnessing that, and for you to show us that it's okay, it's okay to have these feelings. And yes, things are hard, but the gift that you got out of accepting these things, these experiences that happen to you, and we've all got these experiences or things that we have perhaps, put in the back, not to be, not to look at, and, we're afraid of. When you're able to actually confront them, to process them, to grieve them. And I think for me, the forgiveness is a really big aspect, and one of the biggest, because we shape who we are based on these experiences, like you said, and they play out in our lives. And you and I have both experienced similar experiences and kind of belief systems into who we have become as women. And we've had to break those down and go back to the very beginning of when, things happen to us and we just weren't able to process them because maybe we weren't ready. And now we are ready. We are ready to process them. And the last year, I know, has been a massive, massive year for you. And for me too. And it has actually been really nice to kind of share, be able to, obviously not nice to experience it, but it's like we both needed to experience being in just our raw, deep emotions and everything that came, all, releasing all the shame around it. There was so much shame. And I think that was one of the biggest things for me in my experience. Like, I never felt like I could talk about the things that ever happened to me. I never felt safe. I never knew how to talk about them. I never even knew that it was wrong. I just thought it was normal, like, okay. And then, you know, it has kind of changed me, and it's made me, you know, in my younger years, it made me into a woman that I was so shameful of. And now in my relationship as a 42-year-old woman, I'm having to kind of reconnect to my sexuality because I shut it down. I shut it down because I was so ashamed of it and who I was and who I became because of the things that happened to me as a child. And so now I'm in this weird phase where I'm learning to create safety around my sexuality. And yeah, it's this weird new phase space. But my point is that sometimes we need to feel the ickiness, and we need to go back and process what we didn't process when we were younger. And what comes out of doing that is we're integrating back into who we were originally before all of that stuff happened. It's like
Exactly.
we're coming back to the truth of who we are. We're not living out of the story of what happened to us, because that's how I lived my life. I totally took on the story, created an identity with it, and turned into, you know, maybe over-sexual, flirty, party Carla who just didn't care about anything and wanted to escape her emotions and the truth of who she was. Now it's like, you know, this work is just so powerful and beautiful at the same time. And
Absolutely.
yeah,
Thank you for letting me witness you in that as well, and getting vulnerable with us.
thank you.
Because you're right. When we start to share these things that we're not alone in, they allow us to also dissolve the shame around them. And I think more is needed around that, because we don't talk about these taboo things. We carry a lot of shame as women, especially with our sexual identities.
Yeah.
And this is really a part of why I use somatics in the work as well. We are using somatics so that we are clearing all this debris, the shame, the grief, the anger, the feeling violated. All of those stay within our heart and womb. And this is why I've brought the shamanism into the breath work, so that we actually shift those things from our womb, where we have been violated, from where we carry most of our emotions in our heart and womb, to really, really, really bring that love back to ourself, to really bring a sense of connection back to our body and sexuality, and owning it again. Because there's been so much shame, so much hurt, so much pain around it, that you can feel, everyone can feel that love and joy with their loved ones again. And I know that you're really, really like in that threshold at the moment, and it's beautiful to witness.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like it's like a rite of passage. And talking about rites of passage, let's talk about the rite of passage that we are going to create together.
Yes.
Because we've been talking about bringing something, an in-person event space to women, and we are so passionate about being able to create safe spaces for women to come to kind of release the attachment to the roles, you know, the expectations, and just to come and be in a space where they can connect to who they really are, and they can feel all of their big emotions and really be able to release them from their body. So I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. I just can't hold my excitement now. I'm like, let's go. What are you waiting for? What are you waiting for, women?
So let's talk about it. So we're planning to host an event, a one-day retreat for women. And it's going to be held on the most amazing farm in Ashburn near Woodend, with deep Indigenous healing and supporting powers that is going to hold us on the land. And we're going to journey with the wild warrior woman. So I want to talk a little bit about the wild warrior woman and how she kind of relates, because I feel like she really embodies her dark feminine. She kind of is the dark feminine. So can you talk into what the wild warrior woman is?
Absolutely. Oh, I love this work. Just like, yes, the warrior. I can feel mine coming online. The warrior woman really is looking at, firstly, we need to look at the shadow of the warrior woman. Mm-hmm. And the shadow of the warrior woman is, generally speaking, our victim. And our victim is the one who loves. It's our inner critic. It's our little victim voice that keeps us safe and says all the wonderful things like, we couldn't do that. How could you actually dress like that, or speak like that, or think like that? It's that voice. It's that we blame everyone else. Oh, it's her fault, or it's their fault, or we're not, we're not as pretty as them for they've got, I don't know, fillers and things. Whatever it is, we are always blaming, judging someone else. It's human nature, and we are often in this in our everyday life, and we don't realize it, because only 10% of our thoughts are conscious, and 90% aren't. And that 90% really runs the show. So if you are not actually looking at those subconscious and really looking at, well, what is actually programmed within us, then you're always in that sort of victim mode, or potentially at times you could be in over giving and over people pleasing. You could be in your prostitute. And those are the two that really, really we see that is the precursor of, like, you want to step into your warrior woman. You want to be able to be the woman that leads herself from that potent inner power, conviction, confidence that she has, but you're out of reach. She feels out of reach. And that's what we are bringing online in this retreat day. We are going to shed all of your victim and your prostitute and your overgiving and your people pleasing, and then come into your warrior, stepping into that inner power, into that courageous woman that's going to change your life. And we'll do that through breath work. We'll aliven her, awaken her, so that you can step into her. We have some exciting ways we're going to do that, don't we, Carla?
We do. And I think it really is just going to be a beautiful journey and a beautiful process, because the way that we've broken it down is that in order for your wild warrior woman to come out, she first needs to be able to, I think, have the awareness of the shadow and, the things that perhaps the ways that she has been suppressed in order for those shadows to play out. And in order for her to really wake up, she first needs to release the attachment to those, and she needs to release the emotions and actually let everything come up to the surface and out. Instead of being trapped and held in your body, everything needs to come out, because then when you get to that place, you are able to actually reconnect. You are able to tune in to her, to listen to her, to receive her wisdom and her gifts and her power. And I think that's what I'm most looking forward to about this event is being able to witness women go from being in perhaps their victim mentality and the shadow of the wild warrior woman into actually embodying her. And we're going to send you home with, some tools and some resources to be able to continually embody her as well, because this is an awakening. This is the beginning of your journey as you step into your dark feminine, into your wildness, your truth, your rawness, and who your original blueprint and who you really are. So I'm so passionate. I'm losing my words.
Exactly. We're so passionate. We've got so many things to say, don't we?
Yeah, we have so much to share, and so passionate about this because we know what it can do, and we know that we create magical spaces of transformation and portals of growth together. So truly excited, and we have a special offer for anyone who wants to join up in the next 10 days, so before the 21st of January. If you sign up now, you will save $222. So the price is normally $666, and today it is $444 for anyone that wants to sign up and join us and come on this magical journey on the 8th of March and wake up your wild warrior woman.
Wake her up. Wake her up and let's reclaim her.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that you would like to share about the event, or maybe what kind of...
I was thinking of like a retreat story, when you're really scared to go on something you've never done before.
Yes.
And speaking into that, because I feel like that's a massive fear of
coming to something solo and not really knowing what to expect can be really daunting, and I understand it can be the thing that kind of holds you back from actually saying yes to this type of work and this type of an event. Because
I was also you do. No, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's right. I think because you know that you're going to have to be vulnerable. Not that you have to be, it is a choice. There is never any forcing. This is a place where you are in control. It's a place for you to be safe, to be seen, and to be held. We create the space. You are the one that does the work. So, and it is not something that's scary when you are there, because you feel held, you feel like you can be yourself, and you are with women that feel exactly the same way that you do. And something really incredible happens when brave, courageous women come together who don't know each other. They step into a room where they're all strangers, and excuse me, they come into this space where they feel safe. My throat's going to be activated now.
Yeah.
But they feel safe to express themselves.
Yes. And I was just going to add to that. If you're a woman in your head and you're thinking about what am I going to wear and who's going to be there and how am I going to connect with complete strangers that I've never met before, and how am I going to take up space? That was one big thing I remember in my first ever retreat of I'm going to be the only big girl. And it's not about that. It's about taking up as much space as you can to be held for your own journey, for your own transformation. This is, as Carla just said, about choosing how much you show up in the container. It is your work to do. We've done the work. We have our transformation. We love giving this work. That's why we're so passionate about it. And now it's your turn. Are you going to keep staying the same in 2026 and allowing your emotions and your triggers to run your life? Or are you actually going to choose courageously and yourself so that you can show up from the most loving place from within your heart, and all of your emotions are integrated within yourself? so that you can show up as your true wild free woman.
Yes. Sorry, my throat wanted to be a bit wild for a second there. It's just energy coming up. And
Exactly.
yeah, I think we are just both really excited to hold this space and to welcome you into this work. And it's going to be a beautiful day. It will run from 10 o'clock to 4 o'clock, and we will be doing breath work, we'll be doing meditation, probably a bit of sound, bit of Reiki to help ground you and calm you. And lunch will be provided. You'll be nurtured and nourished with all sorts of goodies. And at the end, we are going to really celebrate and honor your wild warrior woman with some creativity and some playfulness in a embodied photo shoot where you just get to kind of have a little bit of fun and you get to play with your wild warrior woman, and we're going to have some props and things that you can use. So yes, it's a combination of, yes, we are doing deep healing transformational work, but we get to have a little bit of fun with it as well. It's not all heaviness and darkness. It is a combination of light and dark. So yeah,
which is always needed to bring forth the light and the love and the joy and the satisfaction within our life, isn't it? The play is really important. It's not, as you just said, it's not all that dark. It's about accepting and bringing forth both online, both in duality, both in synchronicity with ourselves.
Yeah, because you
need
the light and the dark.
Exactly. And that's what turns on more of our magnetism as well.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for joining me on the Fully Expressed podcast and for, I guess, just really being there, being a really beautiful support soul sister. I feel like we have had many past lives together because we are just on the same page, and it's just been really nice to have you there, to not feel alone in our journeys as women who are, medicine women and healers, and we are leading other people. It's nice to have that support when we are going through, our big experiences and our big feelings. So I want to thank you for that. And
thank you for giving me this opportunity to be with you and the beautiful woman coming into this space. I am deeply, deeply honored to hold the shamanic breathwork for this beautiful day that is happening.
Thank you. I cannot wait. I know it's going to be amazing, and we both can't wait to welcome you into our space, into our field, and we look forward to journeying with you there. Thank you so much, Christine. I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will talk to you very soon.
Thank you, darling.